Hello from Farland. This is going to be a real short video today. Foxeer Legend. Fabulous camera, by the way. And then show you a little trick that I do that, maybe you'll want to emulate, maybe not. But when I record a train and I'm interested in really making it sound great, as opposed to like a train going by, here's what I do. First I record the train going by normally at the speed I want it to be running. Here it comes. I'm going to bring it around again without sound so that I pick up the wheel sounds. I think the wheel sounds are really important to making even a model train sound right. Sounding truly like a model train when it's recorded, or in this case, shot with a video camera. Now sound, if you haven't studied it, decreases with the square of the distance. In other words, if you're 10 feet away, it's at one level, but 20 feet away, it drops considerably, not proportionally, but it's multiplied, so that it doesn't sound half as loud, it sounds about a fourth as loud. And I think that's one thing that we as modelers, when we shoot video of our trains, don't really pay attention to. The engine sound should fade out, not completely, but should fade out considerably. There, it's a little quieter up here. So the point of all this is, when you hear a real train go by, the engine builds, you hear it over the sound of the coaches or cars or wagons behind it. It approaches, peaks, and then drops off. Actually drops off more rapidly than this chart shows. This is just an illustration. This isn't an exact scientific chart. But the engine sound drops off, and in fact drops off fast enough that the sound of the coaches, the cars, or the wagons actually at some point become louder than the locomotive sound. You can still hear the locomotive, but it's submerged underneath the sound of the wagons, the coaches, etc. And then when the train gets past, then that drops off. And they both drop off slowly, well, eventually to infinity, but I mean, you could hear a train for miles away, but it's very faint. And it's very easy for all the sounds of traffic or wind or even the birds to eventually mask it so that you can't really hear it. So when you're recording a train, or when you're shooting a model, if you want to make it seem a little bit more realistic, this is what I do. I shoot it twice. I shoot it the first time with the train and the sound on going by, and then the second time I shoot it with just without the sound, so that I'm picking up the wheel sounds. And sometimes I don't even use the wheel sounds from where I shot the video of the train with the sound. I move someplace else around the layout where the sound is more interesting. And then I layer it, and because in the field of the train room or your attic or wherever you have your layout, you're always at the peak. I mean, you're at the most maybe 20 feet away, so you know, the sound it never drops very far. It's almost as loud when it's across the room as if it's right in front of you. It's a little bit less, but not very much. And not the hundreds of feet that would separate you from the sound of the locomotive, for instance, out in the field. So, in order to duplicate the aural experience, aural, A-U-R-A-L, experience of a train going by, what I like to do sometimes, not all the times, because it's, you know, it's more work than just putting the camera there than watching the train go by. I like to record them separately so that I can control the two. So once again, let's listen to the train go by, and then we'll layer the sound of the wheels so that the engine peaks, starts to drop off, then the sound of the wheels of the wagons, cars, coaches takes over as the loudest sound, and then they kind of drop off and fade away together. And see if that doesn't sound a little bit more interesting than just the train going by. So did you hear that? Here, let me play the original first without any sound enhancement or anything, just straight, and then followed by this clip again with where I've added in the wheel sounds. Quickly now. Well, I hope that was an entertaining and interesting exercise there with the sound. Sound, of course, is something that I've been interested in for a long time. I was a musician once upon a time, and I've spent a lot of time in recording studios, so I'm aware of distances and drop-offs and layering and so on. Anyway, bye from Farland.